The number 9, Andre Iguodala himself, gets his number retired in the banners. And I don't know if you guys watched his interview process, um, but I'm not his interview, his speech that he said for it. But I found it to be very unique and completely different from any other speech that I've ever seen a retired player give. Um, but it was on brand for like who Iggy is, right? Or at least what he became towards the end of the season. We don't know that he became focused on like trying to become something in the Silicon Valley. He worked with multiple foundations to spread awareness and help like young African Americans become leaders and CEOs in their own communities. So, giving back to what he was learning and soaking in towards the end of his career there. But his speech was very focused on thinking those behind the scenes that kind of make the wheels turn. I thought that was unique. I thought it was completely different. But then there was something that he said towards the end that I found really profound, and it kind of made me put into perspective and rethink what we're witnessing now. And it's completely true. But he held the microphone, looked at Steph Curry, and told him, Steph Curry may know who he is, but he doesn't know who he is, and that this is only the start of the ceremony that is Steph Curry. And Andre's right. So like while the sun is not setting on Curry, but it's certainly closer to setting than it is being at its height, right? But Andre, who said because he's the oldest, it's the start of remembering Steph's legacy and the culture he brought to the Warriors organization. So as we see more banners in the rafters, it'll be a reminder of how fortunate we are as fans to witness and live through one of the greatest, if not the greatest, eras of Warriors basketball. But as these guys get their numbers retired, it is a celebration of Steph because Steph is the nucleus that put this all together. If it wasn't for his demeanor and how he carried himself on and off the court, I don't think Andre would be coming here. I don't think KD would be coming here. I think Jimmy Butler is playing inspirational basketball. I haven't heard a peep out of him. It's all this talks about how he's a cancer in the locker room. He's been nothing but quiet. And I think he's enjoying that he doesn't have to be the number one guy. Steph Curry is the number
Bob
one guy.
Myers said it on the broadcast, right?
Yeah.
Because what was the problem in Miami? He wanted to get paid. And what
Yeah.
did the Warriors do?
They paid him.
They paid him.
Yeah.
So they gave him what he wanted. They paid him. And right, wrong, it's all fantasy money at this point. It's not our money.
Yeah.
Right. And they paid him. And I think to defend ourselves a little bit, I think all of us were a little like confused about the Jimmy Butler trade. I don't think any of us were saying that it was going to be a good trade that guaranteed, get you as a contender. Cause I still think you got to go through OKC and Denver for the West. But I mean, we admitted that we still landed a legit superstar, and we talked about the years of being excited for the Larry Hughes trade, so we're kind of spoiled a little bit by the shine of Steph Curry, but absolutely, we talked about this quite a bit. What do you do? Do you just suck for the next 2 to 3 years because of contracts, or do you go all in and get Jimmy Butler and try to add somebody else maybe in the offseason to get another ring? Because again, we talked about this in the offseason when Klay Thompson was going to Dallas, right? Is this generation, this crop of players, it's a race to get to that 5. It's the race for the 5th championship because you got all these guys tied. Because right now, if it ends right now, you got all these guys tied. LeBron, Curry, right? Aren't they tied?
Yeah, they both got 4.
Like everybody's looking for the 5th one. There's nobody in this generation like a Jordan that has way more championships than everybody else. There's like a Jordan era. So if Curry gets to 5, this whole era
that equals Kobe,
it's become the Curry era, so, or whoever gets that 5th, it's going to become that era. And that's why, the Lakers getting Luka is like, oh, shoot. Oh, snap. Because if LeBron just rides the coattails of Luka and they get another one, right? It's the LeBron era. And LeBron could go another 5 years for all we know.
Yeah. He may be able to play with his second son,
Absolutely. The ceremony of Iguodala was different, unique, but absolutely spot on about the ceremonies of Curry is that there's still a lot of time. There's still a lot of opportunity for Curry in this franchise to achieve. And I think some of these young guys and Jimmy Butler wants to get one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like he wants one.
He
And
drug Miami to the finals on 2 different
as a
occasions.
playing tournament team last time.
As an 8 seed, like
Yeah.
kicking and screaming, he drugged them into the playoffs and into the finals. Like, so we know he's capable of playing like incredible basketball, especially in crunch time. And now that he can be like now that he's a compliment instead of the main show, the main piece. I can't wait to see what happens.
To
Man.
rephrase Tyler's like initial question is like, do you think this team is Draymond going around saying that this team's going to win a championship team? How do you guys feel about all that?
When he said it, I was thinking there's 2 things that went through my head. The first thing was he was getting into it with everyone and anyone as far as NBA figureheads when he was on the stage. He was saying things that were pissing off people left and right. And I thought, he must be having a couple drinks because he is feeling himself right now. The second thing I thought was, oh my God, he just literally put all the pressure onto this team, and I don't know what's going to happen come after the All-Star break. And luckily, it looks like this team has responded quite well and haven't even felt the pressure of what he put on this team by saying that. And it's starting to look like, not necessarily that we have a championship on line, but the hope is there. And that's all you need to give Steph Curry is hope.
I got a 2-word phrase: puncher's chance.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like it's not so crazy to think that it's possible. Like it is. There are universes where this happens, starting from this point going forward. Like it is on the table.
Yeah.
How many universes? Like, as of right now, it's still a really tough road to get there, but it's not impossible now.
Well, I mean, 22 has proven.
Since this trade, the Warriors instantly became 10,000% more interesting to watch.
Absolutely.
Now, with them winning, only 1 loss with Jimmy Butler, and you're seeing all of this, now you're like, oh man, they can make the playoffs and they could do damage. Like they've doubled the interest level. I did see this. I did hear this interview with Steve Kerr where he said he really enjoyed that Draymond came out and said that they can be a championship team. And he's kind of glad that he's saying it with his chest, because as a coach, anytime that Draymond or anybody who is, affiliated with this idea, right? It's about holding the players accountable. It's about holding Draymond accountable, that whether it's in practice or film room or in a game, that, hey, you're popping off saying that we're going to win a championship and you're not playing like a championship player. So Steve Kerr did talk about like the ability, he likes it because he can hold players accountable to it. So I thought that was an interesting take. Steve Kerr's always a pretty thoughtful guy. So he had a lot to say in that interview.
That makes a lot of sense. I do want to say that, I was talking briefly about how there was talks about Butler being a cancer in the locker room, and kind of what you guys were saying, puncher's chance. But now I'm starting to see it, just thinking about it, the Sunday game, that Pods look happy. There's a scene where he jumps on Butler's back and they're joking and having a good time. Buddy Hield is laughing on the court or on the sidelines and joking with Butler. So it seems that,
and the biggest shocker, Moses Moody getting consistent playing time and all of a sudden being really good.
Yeah, there's been a sense of a rejuvenation. I'm curious what's going to happen when JK gets in. Obviously minutes are going to go down for our players across the board, but it just seems like there's something brewing that wasn't there, the first half of the season. And I'm here for it, man. Let's just roll with the punches and see what we got.